Right now, tracking a widespread winter storm that brought our first snowfall of the season here to Salt Lake City. Coming up, where we could see lake effect snow for Friday, plus additional snow totals.
Slick roads, standing water, and drivers finding themselves in trouble all day today.
And we're live in the Nissan Weather Beast with a current look at our road conditions and what troopers had to deal with earlier during the storm.
Trying to do all we can to save some lives tonight and provide some humanity on these streets.
Those experiencing homelessness are looking for a warm place to stay clear of this snow. What local shelters are seeing?
Well, I had that weird feeling.
A bus ride to school goes horribly wrong for an 11-year-old in Morgan County.
I remember just flying everywhere, and then I woke up like at the middle of the bus.
What he says happened during the rollover. Coming up.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Hi, everyone. We have been telling you about it for days now. And tonight, widespread snow is finally here throughout Utah.
We have team coverage of this winter weather alert. Let's get right to Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan. Allison?
Impressive totals coming down so far. Brighton reporting 18 inches of snow. Provo Canyon 15. Canyons Village at Park City 12 inches of snow. Spanish Fork, even some of our valleys in Utah Valley 7 inches of snow. Very impressive. North Salt Lake 4.3. Tooele 4.2. Bryce Canyon 3 inches of snow. And Salt Lake City at the International Airport only about a quarter of an inch of snow so far, but our first measurable snowfall of the season. I would love to talk quickly about what's happening in southern Utah right now. We have areas of snow along I-15 as the surface front has just moved through Cedar City. Low visibility, and we do have snow-covered roads in southwestern Utah. We're going to see this weakening over the next couple of hours, but we will continue with some chances for snow. Spotty here along the Wasatch Front right now, but things are going to get going again tomorrow morning. Right now, low visibility, Cedar City over towards Bryce Canyon, so keep that in mind. In addition to the slick roads, we're battling with hard time seeing low visibility out there. Salt Lake right now, temperatures 30 degrees, Ogden 29, Provo currently 31. It's cold up in the mountains, and it's going to be cold tomorrow. Coming up, I'll let you know how much more snow we can expect and where we have the possibility of lake effect to set up tomorrow morning for the morning drive.
UHP troopers helped at least or nearly 200 crashes today, and there could be more tonight.
I hope not, but Haley Higgins is live in the Fox 13 Nissan Weather Beast, keeping an eye on the roads. Haley, where are you and what are you seeing?
Yeah, so we are heading southbound here in Davis County near Centerville on I-15. And you can see that the snow has stopped. We did see a couple pockets of snow here in Davis County, but for the most part, it is clear skies and not a lot of problems. But the problem for now is on the road surface. You can see that shine that's there by that car where their lights are reflecting off the road. There's going to be a big problem with black ice over the next little bit as the road temperature right now is hovering around freezing. I'm looking and seeing anywhere from 33 to 34 degrees. When it gets to that freezing level, though, that's when you could see some big problems. Now, I want to show you one of the crashes that was tweeted out by UHP. Now, the plow driver is going about 60 miles an hour when this gold sedan is just going too fast for the conditions. Hydroplanes in the HOV lane, spins around across 3 lanes of traffic, facing the wrong direction, and then hits the plow.
Drive slow. Slow is going to be one of the biggest things that can help you get to where you're going without being involved in a crash. Speed and bad weather road conditions tend to cause a lot of problems, especially when it comes to having to stop.
Now, Utah Highway Patrol is expecting to be busy throughout the night and into the morning because of this storm. They've added extra patrols overnight in the high-risk areas. And, of course, we'll have more coming up tomorrow morning as we continue to take the weather beast across northern Utah to keep an eye on this storm. But for now, though, live in the Nissan Weather Beast, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
All right, you be careful out there, Haley. UDOT is anticipating a lot of change overnight.
We checked with UDOT's Traffic Operations Center today. They believe the worst is yet to come on Utah roads. That's because they've mostly been warm, the roads have, allowing snow to melt and not stick. Well, that's going to change overnight, and UDOT is ready.
Our crews are out in full force right now. I'm actually looking at the UDOT traffic app as we speak, and you can see all of those plow locations pretty much throughout the entire state.
Here is a full look at that tracker. Again, this is on UDOT's traffic app or website. Give it a look before you head out the door in the morning. We have a link to it from fox13now.com.
It has been a bitter cold day for people experiencing homelessness. Limited shelter beds are now filling up all around Salt Lake City, and dining halls and overflow shelters are stepping up.
Fox 13's Emily Tenser shows us how volunteers are helping to protect people from the elements.
Volunteers here say that before doors even opened up this morning, there was a long line of people eager to hang outside where it's warm. Now here at the St. Vincent de Paul Dining Hall, hot meals are offered twice a day. And on snowy days like this, the demand to eat and sleep here overnight is huge. On frigid, snowy days like this, never forget the value of a hot meal and warm shelter.
You lose faith on nights like this. It gets so cold you almost don't want to trudge on and live another day.
From 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., those facing homelessness dry off inside the Weekend Homeless Resource Center, avoiding the snowfall outside.
The biggest thing for individuals facing homelessness is where are they going to go and how are they going to stay dry.
For lunch and dinner, Catholic Community Services offers hot meals. Come 7 p.m., the dining hall turns into an overflow shelter where 60 people can stay overnight.
It's not enough shelter, not enough places for individuals to go.
Out on the sidewalks, members of the organization Nomad Alliance pass out hot chocolate, coffee, and cookies, anything to help people stay warm.
We're trying to do all we can to save some lives tonight and provide some humanity on these streets.
Founder Ksenia Kanazova says Salt Lake City needs more shelters.
My heart breaks for this population. Nobody should live like that.
Before people head back out into the snow, volunteers make sure to hand out more meals to go, hoping the extra calories can help those facing the elements.
Bad weather is an awful thing for anybody to go through, but when you don't have a place to go, it turns into a worse condition of freezing and possibly death. And so having that space and the food and the shelter is important for anybody.
The center is in desperate need of winter clothing donations, everything from coats, gloves, hats, and especially sweats and good winter footwear. You can drop it off here Monday through Friday. Reporting at the St. Vincent de Paul Dining Hall, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
It is definitely cold outside. Don't forget, you can track the winter weather conditions wherever you are, right from the palm of your hand. You can scan this QR code right now on your screen to download the Fox 13 First Alert weather app. You can also find it in the App Store or Google Play. The app has real-time information on severe weather throughout the state.
Now to the push to vaccinate Utah. The state health department reports another 18,066 COVID vaccines administered since yesterday. 61.5% of Utahns older than 5 are now fully vaccinated.
Meantime, nearly 1,400 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in Utah today, including a second case of the Omicron variant. Officials say that person was fully vaccinated but had not yet received a booster shot.
Now, you may have noticed from that graphic the number of Utahns hospitalized by COVID-19 increased by 28 in the past day for a total of 549. 209 of those are in the ICU. Our content partners at the Salt Lake Tribune report that Utah's current surge in COVID numbers rivals last winter's surge. The difference is last year's surge lasted 9 weeks. This year, we're at 12 weeks and counting. The other difference is last year there were enough healthcare workers volunteering to staff the extra intensive care units. Now, those extra people are gone. And the ones remaining have been doing those extra shifts for almost 2 years now, and they're exhausted.
So it's really tough to extend our ability to take care of critically ill patients like we could a year ago. And so it feels, I would say, as stressful here. It's just that I think we're all tired of doing it. And I worry about our ability to continue to stress our healthcare workers.
Today's comments came during a Facebook Live community briefing.
With new COVID variants, the Salt Lake County Health Department is hoping to help more people get their vaccines and their booster shots. County health officials say the new Omicron variant is more transmissible than previous variants, so they are expanding their clinic hours to make sure everyone who wants a shot can get one. Starting today through January 30th, the Public Health Center and the Salt Lake County Government Center are both open on weekends for people to get their shot.
We're really excited about this opportunity. It's really hard for people to get an appointment on Sundays, and for those of us who work 6 days a week, sometimes that's the only time we can go out and get ourselves and our families vaccinated.
The Salt Lake County Health Department clinics also have flu shots available. No appointments are needed. If you would like more information, go to fox13now.com.
Before the current storm, where were we in terms of water in our mountains, and where do we need to be? That's coming up.
Feeling blessed right now that, things didn't turn out worse than they did.
An 11-year-old is sharing his experience after the bus he was on crashed while on the way to school, what he did moments before that crash.
An officer and 2 suspects are recovering after a violent attack with a carjacking suspect. We'll tell you what the state has to say about it coming up.
It's a battle in Philly between the Jazz and 76ers coming up. I'll have the highlights and post-game sound from the Jazz.
In national news, embattled actor JUSSIE Smollett was found guilty today on 5 of the 6 felony charges against him for staging a hate crime in Chicago in 2019.
The actor was stoic as the verdict was read this afternoon. Jurors spent more than a week listening to testimony, also evidence from the night Smollett claimed he was the victim of an anti-gay racist attack. The jurors determined he staged the fake hate crime and falsely reported it to Chicago police, even after he took the stand in his own defense.
Not only did Mr. Smollett lie to the police and wreak havoc here in this city for weeks on end for no reason whatsoever, but then he compounded the problem by lying under oath to a jury.
Smollett faces up to 3 years in prison, but there is the possibility of probation. He is out on bond until his sentencing. His lawyer says they will appeal the verdict.
Congressional leaders joined President Biden to honor the late Republican senator and presidential nominee Bob Dole today. He lied in state at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. President Biden noted he served with Dole for 25 years in the Senate. He and Dole disagreed on a number of things, but still found a way to work together.
In a sentence, Bob belongs here. He, too, was a giant of our history. And that's not hyperbole, it's real.
For 27 years, Bob Dole served as a U.S. Senator from Kansas, including 2 periods as Senate Majority Leader. He was also a World War II hero, suffering a shattered shoulder in an attack while on a rescue mission, leaving his right arm and hand permanently disabled. It was announced in February that he was being treated for advanced lung cancer. Bob Dole was 98 years old.
New numbers released by the Salt Lake City Police Department show crime was down for the month of November. Today, Chief Brown announced the department's average response time to high priority calls dipped for the month of November. Now, that is a good thing. They clocked in at an average of 12 minutes and 58 seconds compared to August, where it stood at 17 minutes and 34 seconds. Lowering crime and speeding up officer responses mark 2 of the department's 4 goals.
In the last 28 days, crime is down 23% in the city. But if you're a victim of crime, you're not seeing that. I mean, we have shots fired in District 2 where officers are responding. People are hearing shots fired. It's traumatic.
Chief Brown says a lot of work still needs to be done, referring to the department's crime control plan. Those goals are to lower crime, improve response times, hire more officers, and build community trust.
An officer with the Utah Motor Vehicle Enforcement Division suffered a concussion today during a violent arrest of 2 carjacking suspects. It happened at about noon at 5600 South, 900 East in Murray. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph explains how it started.
There's no doubt it's like the worst possible scenario as far as officer safety issues go.
A nightmare scenario leads to an officer and 2 suspects in the hospital, all starting with this stolen car.
This particular vehicle was a stolen vehicle. I would suspect this was probably a warm-up theft. I don't know that yet, but I would think that it was.
Tracking the LoJack to this parking lot of a Walgreens at 900 East and 5600 South, the officer with the Utah Motor Vehicles Enforcement Division approached the car.
We thought that the vehicle was abandoned because it was in a parking lot and it didn't look like there was anyone in it because the guy was lower down.
And then the fight was on. The man inside the car struggled with the officer and a second person joined in.
A female passenger that was not in the car that attacked my officer from behind.
As those 2 struggled, one of the suspects tried to take the officer's car. The officer then jumping in and forcing the vehicle into park before making 2 arrests. Other agencies joined in as well.
I first and foremost would especially like to thank Murray that arrived on scene immediately.
A Good Samaritan is also credited with helping.
We do know there was a citizen that helped. We do not know who they are because they left the scene. But we greatly appreciate that, and I believe that those factors prevented my officer from sustaining serious injury.
Law enforcement believes drugs were involved.
There was some drug paraphernalia and drugs taken into account.
And while the officer will take some time to recover, Director Alan Shinney is grateful it wasn't worse.
He has a concussion and some head injuries, but yes, he'll be okay.
As you heard, Shinney suspects that this car was being warmed up on a cold winter day like today. He wants to get the message out that please, residents don't do that because it's a target for criminals like these for these crimes of opportunity. In Salt Lake City, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Today's weather conditions are being blamed for a school bus rollover in Morgan County, leaving a student with minor injuries. It happened on State Route 66 just before 7 o'clock this morning. Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff spoke with the student about what happened.
Well, I had that weird feeling, and so I just said, will you please help me if I am going to get into a crash, and if I do, I know that things happen, but can we be okay? And thank you for everything that I have in my family, and in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
That's the prayer Ty Hancock said right before getting in that bus crash. Ty had just been picked up by the driver, the only other person on the bus driving on State Route 66.
I had a weird feeling. Well, I said a quick prayer and I looked up. Right as I looked up, I heard screeching noises and stuff, and she was trying to brake and she couldn't. Well, it just kept accelerating, and all I saw left was a yellow sign, and then we tipped over.
While the bus was going down a hill, it went around a curve and hit some slick snow and slush.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I remember just flying everywhere, and then I woke up like at the middle of the bus.
It was a scary call for Ty's dad, Travis.
Feeling blessed right now that, things didn't turn out worse than they did.
Ty says he wants people to know his driver did the best she could in the circumstances.
Lots of people have been saying that it's just her skills, how she's bad at driving, and I honestly think that I would have been also dead if she weren't driving.
She's a great driver. I have no worries that she was driving recklessly or too fast. She gets to the bus stop on days like this early. It's easy for everybody to, backseat driver and be, well, they should have done this, should have done that. But any driver that's ever hit black ice, there's not one thing you can do about it.
And according to UHP, they believe that this crash really just came down to bad weather. Impairment is not suspected in this accident. In Morgan County, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, this storm is good for the ongoing drought, but will it make a big difference in the long run?
Fox 13's Max Roth has an in-depth look at what it means for the snowpack.
We're used to talking about snow depth with those measuring sticks showing feet and inches, but experts actually use the weight of snow to measure its water. This thing is called a snow pillow. The pillow is essentially a very sophisticated weight scale. More than 110 are set up in the mountains around Utah. The reason? More weight means more water. 4 feet of powder weighs less than 4 feet of ice. Icy snow contains more water. So most of us don't have a snow pillow, so our rule of thumb is about a foot of Utah snow equals an inch of water. The inch is called the snow water equivalent, or SWE. So how are we doing right now? Normally, on the morning of December 9th, Utah would average 3.2 inches of SWE. The morning of December 9th, 2021, well, we had 1.2 inches. That's a record low for December 9th. The previous 7 days also set record lows. Compare that to our normal year on all 8 days. The deficit is dramatic. So, big picture. Before the storm, we were 2 inches of water or 2 feet of snow away from statewide normals. By April, we would normally have 14 inches of water or about 14 feet of snow stored in the mountains. But we need to refill our reservoirs this year. A good year would get us closer to 20 inches of water in the mountains. Now that is entirely possible. Just 2 years ago, 2019, we hit 21 inches of snow water equivalent in early April. In the newsroom, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, let the rain and snow come. We'll put it to good use here in Utah.
I was shoveling this morning, and I was thinking, boy, this snow is heavy. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, I like to drink water in the summer.
That's right.
So my back stopped hurting altogether.
I was thinking when I pulled out of the driveway today that a great quality to look for in a life partner is find somebody who likes to either shovel or use the snowblower. Somebody who gets excited about it.
Hopefully you found someone like that.
Hopefully you found, or at least you maybe have a person in your neighborhood like that, or a teen who's hardworking that you can pay to do some shoveling for you. We do have the chance for some lake effect snow tomorrow, so we've got an interesting setup to let you know about. We're going to have temperatures in the mid-20s here in Salt Lake City, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. into the upper 20s by 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, and then by afternoon hours we're only peaking close to 80 degrees, but we will have some slick spots possible. I want to just quickly talk about lake effect bands because in these bands we see reduced visibility and heavy snowfall, so you want to travel with caution. As of right now, the main area that we're looking at will be Davis and Salt Lake counties for tomorrow. We have cold wind that's flowing over the Great Salt Lake. We have warm water, and then we see the heat and that moisture with the rising air creating the clouds, and then downwind you end up with a lot of snow possible. So let me show you where this could set up tomorrow. Now, what we're going to be tracking is the key component here for wind direction. So 6, 7 a.m., we have more of a westerly flow throughout the morning, taking you through 11 o'clock here. If this ends up being the case, we would end up seeing portions of the Salt Lake Valley from mostly the southern interchange up towards about Bountiful being our best chance for that lake effect snow to develop. So you'll want to make sure that you are just traveling with caution, prepared for anything, just because we've got that possibility tomorrow, and in those bands it can become very tough for driving conditions. This evening we have some still spotty snow showers, mostly light snow for the mountains. Still quite a bit of snow coming down from Beaver down towards New Harmony into Washington County near St. George, areas of rainfall, some heavy rainfall tonight, and then some spotty snow just south of Panguitch down through Kanab, through Alton. But as we look at watches and warnings, we still have winter storm warnings in effect for the mountains. Now, for the mountains along the Wasatch Mountains just south of I-80, that goes until 4 o'clock tomorrow. And then for the Ogden areas down through Salt Lake into Utah County, we'll continue with some winter weather advisories through 4 o'clock tomorrow. So we are not done with this storm quite yet. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, close to 20 to 25. So it'll be a chilly start for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Logan, Cache Valley, low 20s tomorrow morning. In addition to the areas of slick roads, we're also seeing some low visibility. So that's something to keep in mind tonight and into tomorrow, especially if you end up in any of those areas with lake effect snow. Then by tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it's a cold day. My last concern for you is going to be with highs tomorrow close to 25 to 30 for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden. We're going to end up with some very chilly temperatures Friday night, likely dropping into the teens here in Salt Lake City for Friday evening. So tomorrow morning, best chance for snow will be northern Utah, including some of the valleys, becoming spotty during the afternoon hours. Then that mostly dries out. We end up seeing very cold temperatures Friday night, more chances for rain and snow Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. In addition to the already impressive totals that we've already seen reports close to 20 inches of snow at Eagle Point Resort near Beaver. Provo Canyon, 15 inches of snow so far. Brighton, 18 inches of snow. The Spanish Fork area, 7 inches of snow. We do have the chance for some additional snowfall through 5 o'clock tomorrow. We are mainly looking at portions of Utah County, Salt Lake County, and Davis County to see that potential, especially with some lake effect off of the lakes. Park City, 2 to 7 inches of snow, additional possible. We look across central and southern Utah, mostly a few additional inches of snow possible through 5 o'clock tomorrow. But even with not a lot more snow, the slick conditions will make for some very tough travel. Now for St. George, mid-40s tomorrow. Overnight temps Friday night, 25. 48 for a high on Saturday. You'll warm by Monday, 56. You cool back into the mid-40s by next Wednesday with some more flurries possible for southwest Utah. For Salt Lake City, 37 only for a high on Saturday, 43 on Sunday. More chances for rain into snow Tuesday into Wednesday of next week.
Thanks, Allison. Still ahead, is enough money being invested in educating children throughout Utah? What a new report is revealing.
And we'll show you the new Amazon facility in Salt Lake City that'll deliver your package in 5 hours or less.
Coming up in sports, Utah linebacker DEVIN LLOYD continues to receive postseason honors, and the BYU volleyball team also close to the NCAA tournament. And the Jazz continue their strong play tonight in Philadelphia with Rudy Gobert responding to his critics. The highlights are on the way.
Tonight, new data shows Utah is falling behind when it comes to investing in children's education. The group Voices for Utah Children released its 2021 Children's Budget Report today. It found Utah is ranked 49th for overall education funding. Fiscal Policy Director Matthew Weinstein says money for education is at a record low, with unmet needs mounting to $5.2 billion. He blames increased tax cuts.
Utah's been cutting taxes on average at a rate of $100 million a year, every year, for 35 years now, which now adds up to about $3.5 billion a year that we don't have to invest in children.
Voices for Utah Children also found that Utah is 3 points behind the national average when it comes to high school graduation rates for people of color.
You may like this. Today, Amazon launched their first same-day fulfillment center here in Utah. Faster same-day delivery gives Amazon customers the option to order certain items for rapid delivery from click to doorstep in as little as 5 hours. The 150,000 square foot center will employ 250 full-time and part-time positions with benefits such as health insurance, paid time off, and vision and dental insurance.
So the idea behind this is giving our customers the experience to go from click to delivery in 5 hours or less. So with this fulfillment center, we'll now fulfill and deliver out of one building and deliver directly to our customer door.
Speedy. Amazon Prime members are able to order from 3 million items across a dozen categories, including kitchen and dining, electronics, and more.
Well, the Jazz played Game 3 of their 4-game road trip tonight in Philadelphia, going for their 6th win in a row while trying to improve their road record to an impressive 9-3. Great matchup between All-Star centers Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid. We start with Gobert. Mike Conley feeds him, and Rudy throws it down for the early 2. Embiid's a special talent, though, gets the rebound, then dribbles like a guard, crossing over Hassan Whiteside and takes it right to the rim. He led the 76ers with 19 points, but the Jazz played great as a team. 8 players scored in double figures, including Donovan Mitchell. Takes it in for the slam after the steal. Here's more defense from the Jazz. It's another steal and another break going the other way. Joe Ingles to Rudy Gay for the alley-oop jam. Jazz led it by 7 at the half. They continued to roll in the second half. Mitchell throws it up for Gobert. Another big finish. He had 17 points, 21 rebounds. Then how about this no-look pass from Mitchell to Whiteside? Also had a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Jazz pulled away in the fourth. Gobert got the better of Embiid on this play. The Jazz won it 118-96. After the game, Gobert talked about the negative shots he took from Minnesota players last night.
When you're the best in the world at something, like, people become insecure and they try to discredit what you do some kind of ways. But it's gonna happen. It's not the first time. It's not the last time. I just keep being Rudy, keep being myself, and keep getting better every single night.
Jazz plays Saturday at Washington. Utah linebacker Devin LLOYD earned his 4th All-American honor this year after the Walter Camp Foundation named him to their first team. Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year also had first-team All-American honors from CBS Sports, Reese's Senior Bowl, and ESPN after recording 106 tackles, 22 for a loss, 8 sacks, and 4 interceptions. 11th seed BYU was up 14-10 in the 5th set and decisive set against 6th seed Purdue, so the Cougars just one win away from advancing to the Elite 8 of the NCAA tournament, but the Boilermakers scored 4 straight points to tie the match at 14. BYU did get another match point after this kill from Kenzie Korver, putting the Cougs up 15-14, but Purdue pulled back ahead and served for the match here. They got the block for the win, rallying back to beat the Cougars 18-16 in the final set, ending BYU's season. They lost just twice all year long.
Close one. Rudy Gobert sticking up for himself.
Sure.
Good for him.
Call himself the best in the world, and he is.
Hey,
There you
call
go.
it as it is.
It is.
Thanks for staying up with us late for Fox 13 News at 9.
Good night, everyone. Modern Family's next.